Here I am doing Facebook Live. So Thursdays are emotional and mental health at Be Your Own Guru. So I've been writing posts for a couple of weeks now about various topics on physical health, emotional health, mental health, energetic health. And I got to today's topic, and there's a lot of talking that we can do about this, and here I am talking again. But my experience with emotional and mental health is one that we need to band together, ask for support, show up, get outside our comfort zones to ask for help. I know that was my experience, so I just thought I'd try something different today and show up here and see what happens. Whether I talk about my own experiences or whether there are questions that come through about the topic, I just thought I'd see what happens. So it's interesting that I just went for a wander to come to a quiet location, because where I'm staying at the moment there's so much construction. Not good for my mental health, and I found myself in this beautiful area, like I'm literally in the middle of some rice fields. Check this out. Rice fields and water equaling emotions. Yeah. And get a few Balinese women walking past here, so hopefully I'm not in their way. Yeah. So usually I give tips around how to work with our thoughts, how to work with our emotions, and they're all really valid and valuable. But I wonder if they're being applied, or it's just additional information here on this intermittent thing, or what is needed. I love the opportunity to connect live with people like this, because it means that we can still be in the comforts of our own home, but yet receive what it is that we need. So perhaps it could be the start of something. Let's see. So, yeah, I've had a lot of experience with mental health. A lot. It seems to be one of my themes, and I'm guessing one of these things that is part of my journey to go through. And whether or not it's to teach people or not, that's not up to me. So I just show up and help people how I can. But sort of my first experience with it began at the beginning of this 9-year cycle that we are in at the moment. It was in about 2008, and I was studying my diploma of transformational life coaching at that time, and I was working in the industry as a personal trainer, and going through all these changes. And I did this vision quest where it sent me down a rabbit hole, and it asked me to look at a lot of things that were going on in my life and how I was living. And from that, and from the coaching I was doing with a life coach at the time, I entered into the spiral of depression. And it was never labeled as such, but it was definitely a rabbit hole where I got lost. And I spent about 2.5 years there, where I had to learn to pull myself back out and learn how to walk all over again. So it's something that I'm super familiar with. So sitting in the emotions and the discomfort of that is something that was new for me. I had a lot of stuff that I ran from through my life, and yeah, I entered this point of no return where the only way to come through to the other side was to deal with it. So I spent a long time in the depths of the mud, and I was so thankful to have a support system around me in the form of a life, what was she? She was a sand play therapist, and I saw her weekly for about a year and a half, and we worked together to shift some of the stuff that was coming up, and you know, there were a lot of deep, dark thoughts and ways of being that were going on in my world, and so it was something that, yeah, I experienced over a long period of time. There's no quick and easy method to get through it, and there are lots of different ways that we can. There is no right path through it or wrong path through it, and you know, the statistics out there are pretty high with people that are dealing with depression. So, you know, whichever path we take is the one for us. But in my experience, it was going through this deep, dark tunnel and not knowing how to get out or when I was going to get out. I just remember, you know, waking up each morning and looking up at the sun and knowing that I should feel good, because that was what I was used to feeling. Was you wake up, sunny, you feel good, off you go about your day. And looking up and just feeling this complete hopelessness and not knowing what to do with that, or how to get through it, and having to break my day down into, you know, half-hour blocks. How am I going to get through this first half hour? What am I going to do? I've got a friend coming. Hello. Hello. And so half-hour blocks. And in that half hour, I was like, well, what am I going to do now? You know, I have to do this. Okay, I'll do that. Or I have to eat. Okay, I'll do that. I couldn't think about the end of the day, because it was just bring on feelings of hopelessness and despair, and I would just want to return to my bed, which is where I spent a lot of my time, in bed. So that became one of my mechanisms for moving forward, was 30 minutes by 30 minutes. Even exercise was difficult at the time. I remember I just had to set small things. Okay, I'll go for a walk around the block. Okay, I'll do that. And then, you know, while I was out, I might go, well, I'll go down to the park that I know down there. So small, little steps, little steps. So it took a long time of doing that. I did a lot of journaling, I did a lot of crying, and I did a lot of talking. So at the time, I had absolutely no idea what was going on. You know, when you're in it, and it's a mess, and it's shit, and you come up with the worst possible solutions to finish it all. You know, there's those suicidal thoughts, and not that you would actually do it, but it seems the only way out because everything feels so bleak. So that's why I was so lucky to have the support of the sand play therapist. I feel like she was my angel, she was my lightsaver. So after journeying through it and eventually popping out the other side, I had more clarity and more insights around why I had entered into this space, this 2.5-year space. After being someone that was so energetically vibrant all the time, I was a trainer and I used to teach boot camps and spin classes and have a lot of one-on-one clients, to suddenly decline and have my business disintegrate and absolutely hermit myself was a complete mystery to me. But through the end of it, I came to learn that I'd shut myself off from a younger part of myself, and there was a lot of pain from that particular age range. For me it was 8, so I had something happen to me when I was 8 years old, and as a result I shut down my emotions completely. And so I went into fully operating from my head, which was why I was able to live the way that I did. 100 miles per hour, personal training, bodybuilding competitions, happy Heidi. That was who I was. That was my identity. So my identity crumbled, and I connected to something. I connected to me, right? And I'd never connected to me before. And so the old had to fall away, which was the depression, which was the falling apart of everything that I knew to be me, the breaking down of my business, the breaking down of the identity of being happy Heidi. And then the rebuilding of the connection to who Heidi authentically is, which is why it took so long. And after coming out of that space, coming out of that sort of tunnel of darkness, they call it the dark night of the soul, I found myself in a completely new space. And this is this 9-year cycle I have been in of just integrating who Heidi is at a very deep, deep level, and who that has created me to be on the outside world. All the skills and knowledge and tools and personality, which has been wild, 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 wild. I've been on such an adventure for the last 15 years. But now, and before as well, I can see what an absolute gift it was. It wasn't easy. It was not fucking easy. It is not. You can't take a pill for this shit. You can't wish it by going to retreats and workshops. They might be part of the jigsaw puzzle, but you really have to, well, everybody's different depending upon the circumstances, right? But you really have to get into it to move through it. That's why my mantra is, the only way forward is through. There's no quick fix. There's no quick fix. So now on the other end of things, I'm a completely different person, and I could not be here without having gone through depression. So, which is why my journey is very different to everybody else's, and I have so much compassion and so much empathy to everyone who allows themselves to welcome that space. And I say allows themselves to welcome that space, and if you're feeling depression, you're probably like, oh, fuck off. I didn't welcome this shit. This is bullshit. And I'm right there with you. I get it, but there's a part of you, there's that courageous part of you, whether you want to call it your soul or your spirit, has guided you to your healing. And if that's part of your healing journey, then that's part of your healing journey. It's perfect, and you will receive everything that you need from being in that place. Wow, that was a rambling. So that's a little bit about my healing journey with depression. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Yeah, so I feel well equipped to hold the space and be of support for individuals going through the same challenges. And whilst we're in it, as I say, we can't see the forest for the trees. It shows up in the form of life is super, super challenging, and we might feel overwhelmed and feel like we're barely keeping afloat. We're unable to construct normal, logical thoughts. And so, taking little manageable steps in that space can offer relief, whether it's little meditations, journaling, whether it is allowing the time to sit with feelings and discomfort, because it is uncomfortable, right? It's shit. But the more we accept it as opposed to resist it, the faster it moves. That whole saying, right? What we resist persists, and it will persist and persist and persist until we move it through. We can delay it by diving into our distractions and our vices, alcohol, food, drugs, socialization, busyness. You know, I'm sure you're well aware of all those distractions. And there's no perfection around using those and using tools. It's a dance. It's an absolute dance. I would binge eat. I would watch countless hours of Sex in the City and distract myself. So, you know, all of the above is perfect. It's the dance of both, sitting in the yuckiness and moving, sitting in the yuckiness and moving. And we'll get through it when we get through it. So this has been my first rambling musings on Emotional and Mental Health Thursday. It's my first rambling live video, so thanks for being here and bearing with me. I've got my training wheels on, and I'm gonna continue to show up and be courageous despite of the fear. Dun, 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 dun. I didn't bring my cape. If you got any questions or comments or want to have a laugh with me, please do. Please, you know, just make some comments down here and I'll get back to you personally. If you want to personal message me and share any challenges that you're having, I'd be more than happy to be there and listen to you. We all need someone. Everybody needs someone. And when you're in it, it's shitty. I get it. It's really fucking shitty. So, yeah, having the courage to even just reach out and ask for help and support is one massive monumental step that you can take, and know that people want to help. No one's going to turn you away if you're asking for help. No one, right? So, oh, Megan. Oh, thank you, my love. Oh, from another dear sister who's just showing up in the world. Mwah. So much love to you, Megan. Oh my God. Feeling you. All right. All right, my loves. Thanks for being here. I'm here in my vulnerability and my craziness. And we'll see you soon. Bye for now.